Hello internet, my name is Lave and I watched The Snowman, and I've got to be honest, I was really looking forward to this film because the trailers made it look like it was going to be a decent serial killer thriller, and I'm partial to a good serial killer thriller, and it looked like it's got really good people attached to it as well. Michael Fassbender, Rebecca Ferguson, and Tomas Alfredson directing, who also directed Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. High quality people in front of and behind the camera. And oh boy, this is a car crash of a film. It's so bizarre. In terms of the plot, Michael Fassbender stars as a guy called Harry Hole. I'm not kidding, that's his name, Harry Hole. I'm not... God, I'm already laughing. He's a troubled alcoholic but brilliant detective who gets called back into action and paired up with a new rookie, Katrine, played by Rebecca Ferguson. They take on a case where they have to investigate a missing woman, which leads them on to a serial killer who's cutting up women and leaving snowmen as their calling card. So there's a lot wrong with this film, and that's apparent from the very first scene, really, with some really dodgy editing. The acting was a bit off. There's also some really weird CG moments, which is odd because it looks like they filmed a lot of it on location, which just suggests to me that they didn't get what they actually wanted on the day, so they had to fill it with some CG. It's really, really bizarre. And then the film progresses at a painfully slow pace. It just plods along as you meet the characters who I got the impression didn't really want to be there. And then it becomes really unfocused with subplots, which I would argue not all of them are tied up. It kind of goes off on tangents, but then it all builds to a really anticlimactic ending. It's so bizarre. It's like a car crash. You can't help but look at it. It's really weird. The majority of the acting, I'm sad to say, is quite woeful. Michael Fassbender, he's okay, but he's been so much better in better films. It's definitely a blip on his CV. Rebecca Ferguson, again, I think she's done the best with what she's been given. But then you've got like J.K. Simmons, who's an American, who's got a really weird English accent, but who's essentially playing a Norwegian. That's bizarre in itself. He has this really weird moment where he's pervy checking over this girl and he's standing behind this cupboard and he's going, "Huh." It's like, honestly, it's so weird. And I haven't even mentioned that Val Kilmer is in this. At first, I didn't recognise him because he's pulling this weird face the whole time. I was like, is that Val Kilmer? And even weirder, they've dubbed his voice as well. His dialogue doesn't match up with what he's saying. It's honestly, I know I keep saying this, it's so bizarre. On top of that, there are so many WTF moments which aren't like plot twists or interesting story arcs. It's just, what the hell? That doesn't make sense. I mean, let me give you an example. So at one point, a character walks into their flat and they obviously haven't been there for a while, so it's full of damp, it's rotting, and there's a guy working on the damp, but he doesn't know about it, and this guy stumbles in, so, oh my god, shoots, and the guy just turns around and says, "Oh, you must be Harry, I'm here fixing the damp. Did you just shoot me?" It's like, no one acknowledges it. It's, what happened there? The only cool thing that I can mention is that the killer does have this really cool weapon, which is like this gun with a wire which slices through everything. But even then, that leads to a moment where someone gets their finger sliced off and it doesn't affect them whatsoever. Nah, it's just a flesh wound, come on. Easily my favourite WTF moment, which was so funny and it's completely not meant to be, involves a character who gets killed, and then in the next scene they're standing there and everyone's like, oh, are you okay? And they're like, oh, I'm not that person, I'm their identical twin. I'm not joking. It's basically a parody. Honestly, there are so many moments like that and I was genuinely laughing. In fact, I was trying to hide the fact that I was laughing because there was a lot of people in my viewing who were taking it seriously and I felt odd for laughing. But honestly, I genuinely think that someone could make this a parody with the footage that they've already got. In fact, strike that. I think it is a parody. I was half expecting to see Frank Drebin pop up at one moment. It's so bizarre. In fact, when I was putting this review together, I noticed that there is a lot of footage in the trailers which didn't end up in the final film, which basically confirms that this film was a troubled production. I don't know why, I don't know if studio execs got involved, but it's very clear that the makers just completely lost their way. It's kind of unfortunate because I do think it had potential to be a decent serial killer film in the vein of Silence of the Lambs or Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which is another Norway serial killer film, which is fantastic. So that's my thoughts on The Snowman, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. Unfortunately, it's a thriller with zero thrills. I think it's trying to do for Snowmen what it did for Scary Clowns, except it didn't work at all. It's like Mickey Mouse kind of standing there going, ooh, and it's meant to be scary. It isn't. Yeah, in the end, it's badly acted, it's badly written, it's badly edited, it's badly directed. It's really bad. It is a car crash of a film. If you want to see a decent serial killer film set in an isolated, snowy area, go and check out Wind River, which came out earlier this year, which is how it's done, basically. That's a far better film. So thanks very much for watching my review of The Snowman. I've got some other reviews imminently about to drop. I'm filming stuff back to back because I've seen 3 more films at the BFI London Film Festival, and I cannot wait to talk about them some more. Until then, thanks as always for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like, and don't forget to share the lave. Share it. Subscribe